carbonic maceration, and what it means for you. Welcome back to Whole Brain Coffee. Today we have another offering from Onyx Coffee Labs, which is one of my favorite roasters.
We have the Ecuador La Papaya carbonic maceration. Now, carbonic maceration is a technique that originated in around 1934, and it's a technique where instead of depulping the coffee cherries, which by the way, in case you didn't know, coffee actually grows on trees like cherries, and instead of depulping that, what they do is they just add it to the vat for fermentation and leave it be. Creates a whole new palette of interesting and complex flavors.
Sounds very complex and expensive, but does it actually make a difference?
Right, and that's what we're going to test today. And so I too am a big fan of Onyx, and so I'm excited to see what kind of roast they have brought for us today.
Before we get to the brewing part, just a quick visual inspection of the beans. With Onyx, they look pretty much perfect. They look beautiful, consistent. They smell
these are
heavenly.
Beautiful looking beans. The quality is absolutely there. With some very nice ridges here.
I mean, they look perfect. They look perfect.
And my goodness, I wish you could be here to smell these beans because they smell wonderful. It's like a bouquet of flowers with blackberry, a tropical fruit. It's just a wonderful array of scents that salt, and perhaps not salt is not the best word, but that entangle my senses, my olfactory senses.
I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, but this particular coffee was some of the best that I've ever smelled. Just as far as the beans, I haven't tasted it yet, but the smell of the bag was just heavenly.
Yes, so what do you say we get brewing?
Let's get brewing.
Let's get brewing.
The coffee has been officially brewed thanks to the professor and to this Chemex. And at this point, the only thing left to do is to taste it and enjoy it.
Oh, it smells great.
Oh, that smells so good, bro. Again, listen, we're not sponsored by Onyx.
But if we were.
But I feel like we've never said a bad thing about Onyx at all. It's probably my favorite, roaster.
Yes.
Personally.
Ready to try?
Yeah, man.
Mmm.
It's amazing.
We got notes of blackberry, we have notes of rose, we have notes of raisin and malt. I get every single one of these in very lucid detail.
It's complex.
It is absolutely wonderful.
The one thing that it's not is cheap. I believe this little box was somewhere around the vicinity of $35, maybe more than that. Somewhere between 30 and 40.
This is a coffee though, really, that you drank for the experience. It has such a rich palette of flavors. As I mentioned, very clear, lucid, detailed. You get the fruitiness of the blackberry followed up by the floral notes of the rose. You get this nice, rich raisin. Not too sweet, but a little bit. And it has like a nice malty finish. It's beautiful coffee. It's a great coffee. I think this is one of my favorite coffees we've had on the show.
I mean, look, I could go on for days, but I won't about
Fair.
Why it deserves the score. But I'm a simple kind of guy, I taste good coffee. I give it a 9.2345.
I think were I to give it above a 9, it would need to have just a bit more complexity to it. And so far, it has a robust palate. It's not the most complex palate, I will say that though.
No, it's not overwhelming. It's not
overwhelming,
yeah.
Correct. That's not a bad thing. That is no bad thing. My gut is saying an 8.5. On the high end, I could see myself giving it a 9 upon multiple times of enjoyment, so long as it remains consistent.
True, and I think when you get to that kind of, higher tier echelon of coffees, it really comes down to just personal preference at that point. Mm-hmm. Whether you like, the darker flavors or you like the more citrusy, acidic flavors, I think it just comes down to your personal preference.
And developing a palate too, because a lot of these complex coffees usually are not able to be enjoyed immediately. It takes time to develop a palate, to pick out these flavors, to find which flavors you prefer. Do you like the juicy acidity? Do you like rich chocolate nuttiness? Do you like burnt sugar? What is your preference? And it's a similar difference as to people who might enjoy a $20 bottle of wine, no problem whatsoever, and somebody who might be able to appreciate the complexities of a $100 bottle of wine from a specific region, from a very well-renowned vineyard, and so on and so forth. And so, do you like blackberry, sage, leather and tobacco in your wine, or do you just want simple strawberry? You know, do you want like a strawberry, a blueberry? Do you want a vanilla? You know.
You mentioned wine, and of course, taste is subjective, as we all know.
Of course.
So this is just our personal opinion based on our own personal taste buds and our personal experiences. What proves that fact is when you mentioned wine. I forget the entire story, but I'm sure you could Google it and look this up. There was a guy who took really cheap bottles of wine and he relabeled them.
Yes, there was a whole story about that.
That they were like some historic from like Alexander Hamilton or something like that.
Way long ago, from ancient
like,
history.
Yeah, something like that, from like the founding of America.
Maybe not
like
ancient history, but just from older history.
And it was supposed to be like the most exquisite wine, worth like, you know, millions per bottle or whatever. And he sold it to all of, at auction, I think, to all of these wine connoisseurs. And it was literally like $10, but you know, $10 bottles of wine. And they all thought, oh, this is so good, this, you know.
Right.
This is exquisite. They had no idea. They couldn't tell. They just looked at the price tag. It's expensive, therefore it's good.
Until I believe he messed with the wrong person who hired private investigators and
he got
wine
he
historians.
Got clapped. Listen, you don't mess with the guy who's spending $1 million on a bottle of wine.
Right. No.
You're gonna get clapped.
So, with that being said, and with that entire sort of background, this philosophy of flavor, if you will. Great coffee, Onyx, another good score for Onyx. Just they keep churning out amazing coffees. It seems to no end.
But never has anything disappointed me from them. They're so solid.
And if you like what you've seen here, and if you like Onyx, let us know in the comments below. Have you tried this one particularly? Have you tried other Onyx coffees? What's your experience? We want to hear about it. And also, please, if you want to see more content like this, keep clicking that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot.
We don't have a whole lot of subscribers right now.
Right.
It means so much to us.
It does.
Truly.
It really does.
Truly.
For supporting our channel. We greatly appreciate it. And to all of our current subscribers, we appreciate you as well. So
how much of a brain do you think our viewers should use on a day-to-day basis? If you had to make a pie chart, how big of a slice would you say that the brain should be utilized at?
In terms of overall lateralization of the hemispheres, in terms of statistical analysis of, what would you say, the neurological processes at work within the conscious human mind, I would deeply encourage and exhort our viewers to keep using their whole brain.
The entirety of the brain, would you say?
Yes, their entire brain, their whole brain.
Also, you could say the whole brain.
That's true. Yeah, their whole brain.
Anyways, listen, keep using your whole brain. Onyx, if you're listening to this, send us some coffee. We would be honored. Until then,
we'll see you next time.
See you next time.